In an unexpected and unscripted moment on the Graham Norton Show, Dame Helen Mirren delivered what many are calling a subtle but scathing critique of Meghan Markle's public persona without Markle even being present. The flashpoint? A seemingly innocent floral arrangement that Helen dismissed as a clutter. But for viewers attuned to the ongoing royal drama, this moment was a masterclass in understated British disapproval. The fact that Meghan wasn't even on the show made the jab sting even more. It wasn't gossip, it was a cultural critique, aired live and unfiltered. Helen Mirren, the Oscar-winning actress who famously portrayed Queen Elizabeth II and has never been one to mince words, was seated on the red couch during a recent episode of the Graham Norton Show when the topic of aesthetics came up. The conversation turned to celebrity homes and their signature looks, a natural segue into discussing some of the most over-the-top, media-saturated styles. It was then that a photo of a room with an elaborate floral centerpiece flashed on the screen. With a sly smile and a sharp glance, Mirren quipped, "Oh dear, a clutter, isn't it?" The audience laughed, but the message was unmistakable. Those in the know recognized the arrangement as one frequently seen in the background of Meghan Markle's carefully curated social media and Zoom appearances. A lavish spread of peonies and eucalyptus, perfectly framed to convey organic chic, a signature of Meghan's post-royal branding. And Helen Mirren wasn't buying it. This wasn't just about flowers. It was about a broader disapproval of what Meghan represents to many in the British establishment and public. A Hollywoodized version of royalty that trades discretion for Instagrammable moments. Mirren's comment cut through the facade and tapped into a growing sentiment, especially in the UK, that Meghan Markle's aesthetic and by extension her persona is less about authenticity and more about performance. The critique also comes in the shadow of years of strained relations between Meghan and the British royal family, where her actions have often been described as tone-deaf. From the infamous Oprah interview where she and Prince Harry accused the royal family of racism without naming names, to her claims of naivety about royal life despite documented history and countless sources pointing otherwise, Meghan has faced serious backlash. British commentators have often highlighted how Meghan positions herself as both victim and celebrity, a contradiction that has alienated many. Then there's her selective feminism, often wrapped in curated speeches and brand deals. While promoting her Spotify podcast archetypes, Meghan decried the labels women are given only to surround herself with elite, like-minded women from Hollywood and Silicon Valley. It painted a picture of empowerment, but one that felt exclusionary and commercialized. Even her fashion choices, though praised by tabloids, often seem designed to provoke rather than inspire. The monochrome capes, the oversized hats, the dramatic silhouettes, these are not the choices of someone trying to blend in or pay quiet tribute to royal tradition. They scream individuality in an institution built on service and humility. And while defenders of Meghan argue that she's simply forging her own path, Helen Mirren's subtle dig reminds us that not everyone is convinced by the brand. Coming from a woman who has played queens, met real ones, and been knighted for her contributions to British culture, the clutter remark lands like a velvet-gloved slap. It's also important to note that Helen Mirren is no stranger to the dynamics of public image. She has navigated a decades-long career balancing artistic integrity with mass appeal. Her critique, whether intentional or incidental, suggests a deeper disapproval of Meghan's calculated image management. It was a moment of aristocratic side-eye that spoke volumes without saying much at all. In the aftermath of the show, social media lit up. Fans of Mirren praised her poise and honesty, while Meghan's supporters rushed to claim the comment was taken out of context. But, as is often the case with controversies involving the Duchess of Sussex, perception is everything. And in this case, the perception was damning. Ultimately, Meghan Markle was not on the Graham Norton Show. She wasn't mentioned by name. But in a single line, Helen Mirren managed to tap into a collective weariness, especially among British audiences, about Meghan's relentless personal branding. It was the kind of moment you couldn't script, and perhaps the most British way of issuing a public rebuke, not with confrontation, but with elegance, wit, and undeniable authority. The message? Sometimes the most powerful critiques come not from headlines or interviews, but from the eye roll of a dame. The message? Sometimes the most powerful critiques come not from headlines or interviews, but from the eye roll of a dame. What made Helen Mirren's moment so cutting was its sheer effortlessness. There was no need for a takedown monologue, no need to name names, just a passing remark, a knowing smile, and a level of class that made the point louder than words. It spoke to a growing sentiment that Meghan Markle, despite her carefully constructed image of empowerment and relatability, may be more out of touch than she realizes. Where Helen embodies understated British sophistication, Meghan often appears consumed by optics, ever ready with a speech, a photo op, a trademarked quote. Mirren's comment seemed to mock that very contrivance. In Britain, where humility is prized and showmanship viewed with suspicion, Meghan's over-curated image has grown stale. She positions herself as the modern woman, but ironically, it's the older generation like Mirren who seem more in tune with public mood. This fleeting moment on the Graham Norton Show wasn't just celebrity banter. It was cultural commentary unspoken but universally understood. And in a world increasingly weary of self-promotion masquerading as authenticity, Helen Mirren didn't need to shout to be heard. She simply looked at the flowers and told the truth.